Today we're going to be playing with the Pet Love bundle, which is one of the bundles that's in the online exclusives. It's been out for, I don't know if it was this, yeah, it was this past release. And then I'm adding the alphabet dies. There's a few alphabet dies available right now. One of the newer ones is the big party banner dies, and maybe you think that it doesn't fit on a card, but it's I've got a couple different cards that shows that they can fit. Um, Obviously not everything, but you can, there are ways to make things fit. And then there's the mini alphabet dies, which are perfect for cards and words. And I wanted to, I don't know if I've done a video or not before on some different techniques, but different ways. I think I have, because there was some shadows and stuff. But anyways, I think I have a different shadow alphabet today, and then I've got one that I've never done before. Actually, two that I've never done before. So two new ways to use your alphabet dies, which will be fun. I think I forgot to say welcome. If you're watching, let me know you're watching. I'd love to hear from you, where you're watching from. If you're watching the replay, yeah, just say hi. I'd love to hear from you. Feel free to comment as I go. It's so much more fun when there's interaction. If you're new here, this is a weekly live that I do every Wednesday at noon. I've been doing it for quite a few years. I would love to grow my community. I would love to grow the just viewers. It's more fun to interact when crafting. So if you like my videos, please like, please share, subscribe, all the things. Yeah, and I'm gonna get turned around. I was gonna remind you about all the sales and stuff, but it's easier if we're turned around and I can just show you the papers. So I'm gonna do the awkward transition, hopefully not make you too seasick. I don't know why. I must have changed things at one point that you get this view of the... Anyways, should be good enough. We will see. Okay, so before we get started on this lovely, so I showed you the stamp set, but the die set is super fun for this. You've got the paws and the hankies. Just if you're a pet, if you have a pet, a cat, a dog, any kind of pet really, this is a super cute set. And it's funny because I've never done cards to give to people from the pet, like, but my son's girlfriend, I think it was to him, her dog gave him a birthday card, and I was like, oh, I never thought of doing that. And so some of this is I woof you, so it's cute to come from your dog to whoever that they love, so that's cute. Or from their dog, whatever, however it may be. And I love the cute little cutout paws. And you might think, I'm not going to cut these out and glue them. The better way to do it is to cut them out and use the color underneath that pops up, and then you don't have to worry about gluing it back on. Anyways, there's lots of fun pieces and parts in that we will play with. But before we do, I wanted to point out my class schedule. It is on my website, the lindagibbs.stampinup.net. So you can go check it out there. I have posted it a few times and emailed it to people. If you would like to see it again, just message me and I can send it to you. So a lot of it has passed now, but there is the Christmas card crank that's coming up, that I do have a few more kits available. So if that interests you, let me know. I also have my monthly card club. Our first date is at the end of the month. We meet the fourth Thursday of each month. And it was getting a little scary with the postal strike. So I managed to send things with people who were visiting for Thanksgiving. I got it out early to everyone who was signed up. So if you do sign up, you just might get it late. So be aware of that. Yeah, that's for my class. I wanted to remind you about the advent calendar. Mine is supposed to be arriving today, and I'm so excited. I'm going to be doing 12 days of crafting. I haven't decided if I'm going to do it early. I would like to do, December 1st to 12th, but it's such a busy time of year. I don't know. And I'm having surgery on the 1st. So, well, it might be a good thing to do because I won't be able to do much else. But yeah, so I hope that you guys will get a calendar as well and we can craft together. And then there's the Traditions of Christmas class that Stampin' Up! Is offering. Now, they did address the fact that the paper and I think the embellishments are not available right now. They're sold out. They're coming back, but they won't be here for the class, obviously. But it's a recorded class. But they also gave an alternative option for alternative option for paper and embellishments that you can use instead with the bundles that are still available. So if you didn't get on it early and you didn't get the stuff, you can still make the class work if you want to do the class. The other thing that's happening right now, which is amazing. I wish I wasn't a demonstrator so I could take advantage. No. So for 40, our starter kit to join is normally $135 and you get $165 worth of product. But this month it's $48 for $165 worth of product, or you can pay $135 and get $252 worth of product. So if you have a huge wish list, you go for this one. If you have a smaller wish list or a smaller budget, go for this one. But it's like, you can't beat it, and then you get a discount for yourself afterwards. So anyways, something to think about. If you ever want to join, reach out. I'd love to hear from you. You can join my team. All right, let's get started on these fun. I hadn't played with the Pet Love bundle yet, and I just thought, I don't know why I haven't. I've made a couple Christmas cards. I just haven't gone into the Christmas crafting yet, which I should. I think it's because of the postal strike. Hopefully the volume is working. I have my microphone on. So I pre-cut this one because, for those of you who have not seen this before, I usually do 3 cards or 3 items. Hi, Linda. I thought nobody was going to be watching today. Thought I was all by myself. What was I saying? I lost track of what I was going to say. I don't know. Oh, I pre-cut some letters and all the pieces and parts, so you don't have to, you've seen me die cut a gazillion times, and I will be die cutting for the last card, so you will see some die cutting if you're new to die cutting. I'm going to start with, this is I forgot to look. I never know. I'm not good at, I haven't been good at marking things that are retired. I don't think the postage dies are retired. I could be wrong. Either way, that is what this is. I'm pretty sure it's still available. And then there's the cute, so it's 4 paws stuck together in the stamp. So it's quick and easy to stamp. And you're gonna get the moaning and groaning from my pup. She just got back from the dog park, so. Just happens to fit nicely around the card. Don't even have to mask anything. So we've got a cute little frame of paws. Isn't that cute? Like, you don't need anything else. You just need the paws. And then there's this cute, so there's two I always want to call them handkerchiefs, bandanas that it comes with. So you can do this one where it's got the holes and then you've got the tie separate, or you can cut out the one from the stamp where it's kind of a checkered look. So here where's my white piece? You could do a layered, because I am with my lettering, I'm going to do a shadow. So I took black, and what I do is I just, there's a couple ways to do shadows. You can cut out your letters out of your piece of paper and then have black behind it and then just kind of offset the pink. Like, so if I had cut this bubble bath out, I would not use a different color. I'd have black behind, and then I could just offset my letters, and then you'd have that black shadow behind. But for this one, because I'm stamping part of it, and I'm using die cuts for part of it, I decided to do it this way. And so I haven't decided if I want to do the same thing for my bandana or not. So maybe we'll start with the lettering. I'll start with the eye. So I'm just gonna, I was being lazy. I usually, Linda, can you hear, is the volume okay? What am I doing? I'm not putting it directly on there. I never know. I keep meaning to go back and watch since whenever I use my mic, because I'm not sure what the sound is like. And I keep forgetting. So hopefully the volume's okay. So there's the shadow. And then I've got the I woof you, and I only want the woof part. So I'm going to start out, and I'm going to make sure my stamp is clean, because obviously I've used a couple colors. It's fine. Okay, good. If it ever stops working, let me know. I'm sure you would, but so I want the brackets in there, so I'm just gonna kind of, I don't need all of this, I just need a little piece, so keep that for another. So what I do is I block it off before I ink it up. And then we ink it up real good. But now you don't want to stamp with this on here because it's got all sorts of ink on it. So you want to take that off. And then stamp your words that you want. And then it's a nice clean woof without the other part. And then we'll close this because knowing me, I'll stick my hand in it. And then I'm going to do the U. So we need the black cardstock first. And I'm just going to move it a little further because my berry burst is going to come over top. Oh, maybe I should have moved them both over. I wonder if they're too stuck. Oh, no. Well, now it's going to make a mess. That is the downfall to using the glue, is once it sticks, it is stuck. Now it's crooked. Oh well. Okay, And O. So it definitely is easier to do the shadow by cutting it out of your paper and then putting black behind. I would highly recommend that. And I could have done it on this. I could have stamped my stamp first, and that way I would know where to cut everything else out. But this is just, I seem to be missing my U's. That is strange. I was sure I had all my letters. Huh. My U's ran away. That is very strange. Maybe I forgot. Did I forget them? No, I took them out of here. Huh. Oh, no, they're over here. I must have forgot to grab them. Okay. This, these mini dies are nice because it's all, you cut all your letters out all at once. So it's just one die and it cuts out a whole bunch of letters for you. So it's quick and easy. I mean, you end up having lots of letters left over, which sometimes is good and sometimes is bad, depending how you keep your scraps and if you use letters a lot. But like for this one, it had 2 O's, so I didn't need a second cutting of that, and it had 2 I's. So I just needed a Y and a U, which are all on the bottom. So I only cut out like a strip on the bottom, not the whole thing again. So there are ways to get around that. So I'm just gonna eyeball that. You could use a trimmer if you wanted a perfectly straight line. Okay, so then I'm going to glue this down. And then we'll have the I woof you. Now, do we want just, yeah, I don't think we want the black. Okay. So then, again, it'd be easier if you had cut this out with an adhesive sheet, but there's lots of big spots to put the glue, so it's not horrible to glue it down. And then you could pop, maybe I'll pop that up with some dimensionals. Did you guys celebrate Thanksgiving? Canadian Thanksgiving? I know American Thanksgiving is later, but you can celebrate both. Okay. Should I pop that up as well or keep it flat? I think I'll keep it flat since I popped up the one bit. I've had turkey, and then I had turkey soup last night. I made some soup because my oldest is sick, and I thought he needed some nice bone broth. This way or this way? Same way? I think the opposite way. There's just so many little pieces and parts that you can, you know, if you were doing, obviously you wouldn't put a wolf for a cat, but if you were doing a cat, you could use the fish bones, or, isn't that cute? Oh, such a cute set. I should have done these in Christmas colors and then made them as though Aspen was giving them to her boys. Oh, you love turkey. Do you make turkey with just the two of you? I did make, I made 4 turkey breasts. I didn't make a full turkey, and it's easier. And then I used all the bones to make the soup, but, so you could make like just a turkey breast for 2 of you. It's so much easier, less mess, and you're not cooking for as long, and I know, good option if it's, but you'll probably make a turkey for US Thanksgiving. All right, so this one again, I've got cut out, and because these letters are large, I decided to do a slimline card. Since I still have some slimline envelopes, I thought, why not? I'll do a slimline card because it kind of fits pretty perfect. It's even bigger than I need. But then I came up with a fun option with this. So I'm going to start, and then I'll show you how to make this fit on a regular size card. That was the next trick. And this trick is once the letters are on. But before we put the letters on, I'm going to do some stitching, which I probably should have pre-done. I didn't even think to, I should have done some of the letters, but we'll just, I probably don't have to finish it. I could finish it after the fact, even if they're glued down. But if you want it, I mean, stitching is never perfect anyways. So, I mean, you could use a ruler if you were really wanting to be precise, but then to me, it wouldn't be very realistic in terms of stitching. I'm going to do this one just because I'm putting something on the O, and then I can do the other 2 letters after the fact. Hopefully you're not hearing too much banging. Our neighbors are getting their roof redone. All right, so then we're just going to glue the letters down. Now I thought it was easiest to do the first and the last and then kind of center the O's in between. You could kind of find the center and then put the 2 O's down. I don't know what let's do the opposite, and then I can tell you if there's, I mean, and if you really want to be precise, obviously you can find, like, well, you could even use the grid, right? So this is 8.5. So 4 1/4 would be, which I'm pretty much at 4 1/4. So it's a little bit over, I guess, because you want a space in between. And you could center it up and down as well using the grid. but you'll see why I'm not too fussed about that. And again, I'm just trying to leave about the same amount of space. Again, you could use the grid. You could make pencil marks if you really wanted to line it up. Or, I always forget, if you have a T-ruler, you could set your T-ruler and line it up that way. So say that's here. Oops. Let's go like this. And then, oh, I really messed that up in terms of how much, oops, space the F. That's why I think it's better to space your W and your F first, so they have the same amount of space here, and then you can center your O's. Just eyeball it, yeah. That's what I usually do, but you know, some people are, maybe if they're selling their cards, I don't know. So some people are very precise. I am thankful for glasses. I used to have very good eyesight, and so I could see things that were off by even 1/8 of an inch. I drove our builder nuts. So I'd be like, that's not straight. And they get their measure out. But I think for them to have to change things, it had to be within like 1/4, and I would see 1/8. So it would drive me nuts, but they wouldn't do anything about it, which sucks for me. But now that my eyes are getting worse, I think it's not as big a deal. But yeah, our staircase is just slightly off, and it used to drive me nuts, and they refused to fix it. Okay, so that'll be part of the, oh, maybe I didn't have to put that on yet. I'm getting ahead of myself here. It's before, maybe I'll do the pause after the fact. Okay, so here's the fun part of this card. We're gonna take our snips here, and we're gonna have some fun. So we're gonna basically cut the card into the shape of our letters. Now the O's I had a bit of trouble doing, but you know, you just want a curve is essentially what you're going for. And obviously you could curve the whole thing if you want, but you'll see what I'm going to do at the top. And I'm trying to kind of come to the same height for each side. It's not too curvy. And then again, and then here the F is straight. So you can go like so. And then we will come up like so and across like so. I'm cutting both, like this is a folded card that I have, so I'm cutting both at the same time. I'm going to do the same thing again here, and then come across. And then the W is bigger. You could cut this a little bit down if you want to. Now, obviously you don't want to cut across the top because that's where your fold is, which is why I've kind of left things even at the bottom where they're not fully rounded, because like I could fully round my O's, but then you're going to lose the whole curve. So this way you're leaving. My W is awfully close. Like so, and then same thing where you're just copying the lines. So it's kind of like you're giving your letters, what do you call it? Not a silhouette. I'm trying to remember if I cut this down. I see I was too close because technically you should have it coming out the whole way. And look at my O. See, if you were smarter than me, I should have taken the O, or even the die of the O, and kind of drawn it and then cut it, but that's okay. It's just supposed to be close. It's just supposed to be a shadow of your words, but isn't that cute? And then you can add the, so you could do it with lots of, 4-letter, maybe 5-letter words if you're doing the slimline. You could also use what you might call it. What am I trying to think of? Like a 5x7 card. You could get more on there. Maybe down here. There. So you've got that, and then, I mean, you could, I did put a bone, oops. Okay, let's, before I stick my finger in again, we'll wipe all our excess ink here. And we can have the bone, and I just put it, so this one I use dimensionals, just like the ball. And hopefully my thumb doesn't pass on the ink. But there's our words. So obviously I'll come back and I'll finish the stitching on all of them. But that's card number 2. And then, so you're probably wondering how I'm going to fit the woof. And it was Sarah, our CEO, that, I don't know if she was the one that started it, but they had a alphabet challenge. And they did a card where they smushed the letters together, and I just thought that was brilliant. And then, but the way they did it, I'll show you, and you can tell me what you think. I changed it up to make it, I think it's easier. I will show you. So I've got my, there's only one O in this set. I mean, it's such a big set. There's only one of each letter, unfortunately. I wish it still had double of things, but it's good. So the way they did it was they cut out all of the letters separately, and then they're gonna do what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna do what I'm gonna do while cutting. So I'm gonna cut my letters one at a time. This plate has a bow in it on both sides somehow. Weird. Okay, so I'm going to cut my first one. This is going to be tight, so I'm going to have to make sure, maybe I should cut it this way. Oh, but then it's going to be the wrong, maybe if I do it this way. Okay. Because not only do I need to squish, I need enough paper. And I was very stingy on my paper. All right, so we will start with our first letter. Normal, a normal cut, the full W, and then we'll set the W aside. Now, we want the O. Oh, hang on, I gotta get a piece of tape here to help me out. You could, I guess I could use a Post-it note also. We'll have some tape here. So next up, let me make sure you can see this. We want the O, but we're going to cut some of the O so that it fits. I think it was, I don't know if it was last week or the week before where I did one and I was overlapping the letters. Oh, it was for a book that I was doing and it didn't quite fit. And I just kind of tried to tuck them in, but then it was all uneven. This is way better to cut the letters so that they take the shape of the letter before it. So she went back and redid her letters, whereas I'm just doing each letter as I go. And then I kind of know how much to take off. So, and then again, so this will have a different, so this one had a straight cut. This one is gonna, and again, you kind of want to make sure that I didn't make sure I was level. I should have made sure I was going straight because you want it to be fairly straight because you're lining up the curves and the letters in there. But okay, so then we've got, and I do check from behind before I cut because I don't want to cut so much that I'm, you know, like cutting off the entire O there. So I still, it's like, where'd my O go? I still left some O. And then we need the F, which should just fit. So again, it's going to get cut off a little bit. You probably want about the same amount as, but not too much. Okay. And then I'll run that one through. So we have just enough paper. There we go. Okay. So now we've got all of our letters. Don't need that. We do need the letter. Okay, so you can see, where did I lost my W. How do I do this? It was right there. Okay, what the heck did I do? Oh, it's stuck at the bottom. There we go. Okay, so see how now you've made it smaller. It probably still won't quite fit on a cut down piece. But what I decided to do, so since it didn't quite fit, I thought it kind of looks funny across and hanging off. So what I did was I turned this to be angled. Right? Isn't this cute? And then I'm going to go across like this. And then I will cut off the extra, but you can you still know what the letters are. But before I do that, I'm going to stamp my letters. So I think in the one that Sarah Douglas did, it was, she'd done, I want to say flowers or leaves. It was a Thanksgiving thank you kind of thing. I'm going to use my little paws again. I think this is the greatest background ever, is the little paws. You can't get much cuter than that. And it's the fact that they're 4 together makes it so much easier to stamp quicker. Okay, so we've got all our letters paw printed. Oh, I don't have a spray out. A messy. Okay, so again, you kind of want to have them laid out before you start gluing. Now I don't want to cut off too much of the W. And I want to kind of try and get the most of the letter on here. So maybe if I turn it even more, get more of an angle, make it more of the F on. Let's see. Yeah, that's pretty good. All right, so then we just start gluing. Isn't that cool? It's so, and it looks like it still has the space in between the letters. And it just looks so much better than trying to squish it and have it overlapping. So much better. I wish I had seen it before I did my the one where I overlap things, because it did not turn out nice at all. Luckily it was just a binder cover, so I knew what it was, but still, I don't love it. Oops. I took the time to decorate it and then I didn't like how it turned out, but if only I knew, but now you know. All right, just leave that little bit of white in between. You could squish them right together, but I just feel like it has more of a look of the letters. And then you can just come in and cut the parts that you don't need. And it's surprising how you can still know that that's a W, you still know that that's an F. Isn't that cool? And then I did the opposite. Actually, hang on. Before I did, oh, I have to stamp first though. I was gonna say, I did do the paw prints cutouts. See, so this time I'm taking away the woof and I want the I and the U. So opposite what I did the first time. So this time oh no, we're covering the woof. I just said that. Actually, we're covering, I just want the eye to begin with. So we'll just cover all of it just in case. And I'm going to do it in the Secret Sea again. Have you noticed that I use Secret Sea a whole lot? I love this color more than Night of Navy. So we've got eye. And then I'm going to clean that because I made the mistake of not cleaning my other one, thinking that it would get covered, and I got it on my card, but I ended up covering it with I cheated. Cheated. Let's go like this. No, we need this side this time. We need the U. Okay. I'm going to take that off, and we'll put the U. There. I woof you. Isn't that so cute? And then, oh, I didn't pre-cut those because I ended up using it. I'll have to show you my finished card since, well, I guess I have time. I have time. Okay, so then this is where you can take these paw prints and you can put them on here. I'm going to cut it out on my Big Boss because it doesn't fit in the mini that I have out. So 1 moment, please. And then it'll stick my letters down too as I run it through. So then, once you've cut them out, you don't have to deal with all the cutouts. You just have to make sure that it's all popped out. This one little toe, I need to get a new cutting plate. My cutting plate is so used, so loved. And then when I put it on the background piece, then I have the cute little pink paws. Isn't that so cute? Just put a little bit of glue there. Glue there. You could pop it up if you wanted it. There, and then I realized I forgot to cut the little, it's not an ornament, the tag. So I used Bubble Bath. And there's to go with the collar, there's a round tag and a heart tag. So this one is the heart. I don't know, I can't remember if there's something to stamp. I guess you could stamp I love you in the round one. This one I can use the little one. And then I took some twine on this. My elbow has been really sore. I have troubles doing the machine. I have to use my left hand. But so I wanted to make a bow, and fine motor skills right now just aren't working so good. So I pulled out my bow maker that my oldest had made in construction class long, long ago. Long, long ago. Thank goodness for construction. I think I've seen people sell them on Etsy, or if you have a meat fork, you can use the fork like similar spacing. You can, but that's why there's multiple pegs, because you can make your bow bigger or smaller. So you basically cross it and put one under and one over, and then you just tie a knot. Slide it off. And I did a double, so there's double loops, but then you have the perfect double bow. Makes it easy peasy. And then pop this up. Now this twine is old. It doesn't quite match. I think it was the what do you call it, Starry Sky or something along those lines. So it's lighter and more purpley, but it's close. Close enough. I'm just gonna put a little glue dot there. And then stick my bow there, and then my scissors are so dull. I wish I had been on the ball to get an extra pair of snips that were ribbon, because I hate pulling out these big ones, but they're my ribbon scissors. So then we'll put it on a card base. And voila. So the 3 cards, 3 different ways of using your alphabets is one with a shadow. Again, you can do it that way or cut it. And then we've got the shaped slimline card. And then we've got the squished words without squishing. So yeah, hopefully that'll get you to pull out your alphabet and play with it. Come up with some words and make some fun cards with them. I mean, sky's the limits with words, right? So your alphabets can go a long ways. All right, well, hopefully you have a great rest of your week and a good weekend, and we'll see you next Wednesday. Oh, I'm glad you liked them. Thanks, Linda. Take care. Bye.